First official World Championships held back in 1995 in Paris. We move to one of the newest disciplines of aerobic gymnastics in terms of official competition. The aerobic step final.
Aerostep programında finalciları karşılayın.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Aerostep finalists.
Now this is a truncated final. Just 3 nations competing in this. And there will be no medals awarded. There will be prizes handed out, but no bronze, silver and gold medals. And the reason for that is that if there are fewer than 4 participating nations in a category, then according to the regulations for the Fédération Internationale de Gymnastique, there will be no medals. Nonetheless, the winner will be the world aerobic step champion. Hope that all made sense. 8 gymnasts comprise an aerobic step routine, and they bring with them, of course, a set of steps. Ukraine, the 3rd strongest performers in the qualification process. They've only ever won 1 medal at the World Championships, and that was step bronze last time. Italy, 2nd strongest performers. They've never won a step medal at the World Championships. They won't win one today, but they might find themselves taking a World Championship title, and with them it is RGF. They were the top performers in qualifying. Now, of note is that there is no difficulty score in step. The start list for the aerobic step final: Ukraine, then Italy, then RGF. As I was saying just a moment ago, no difficulty score. So just artistry and execution, ergo this is a mark out of 20. The gymnasts are required to use the steps to create patterns. They are required to have at least 1 lift sequence in there. Now, what's the thing to watch here is very much the placement of the steps. Look for whether they've got good geometry in their work. So we begin with Ukraine, the 3rd strongest performers in qualification, kicking off this aerobic step final. Lovely use of the space from Ukraine. Some pleasing patterns created. Katerina Cherkes, Daria Kutsalyuk, Anastasia Litvin, Alexandra Mokot, Yulia Samoilenko, Ilona Shelest, Daria Subatina and Anna Timchenko. This is an elite sporting discipline that evolved out of the fitness clubs of the 1970s and 1980s. I'm sure many of you remember the introduction of step aerobics. It was extremely popular just for at-home exercises for many years, and it's wonderful, isn't it, to see something like this being done at an elite level, to see just what these steps are capable of doing. Yes, this is not a step aerobics routine that one does at home. .85 was their score in the qualification campaign. 17.2 this time. Execution and artistry up. The artistry going up by a single tenth, the execution accounting for the rest of that improvement of 3.5 marks. It's been wonderful to see across the board, across all competitions, the improvement in execution in the final. Italy, second strongest performers in qualification. Music that reminds us of the necessity of finding any cheer that we can during a time of tempestuous weather. How the music, the voice of Gene Kelly, teaches us a very important lesson some 70 years afterwards, at a time when the world has needed merriment more than it's ever needed it in our lifetimes. This was a splendidly stylish routine from Italy. Lovely work with the arms. It's not all about the feet in terms of step aerobics. You've got to have an upper body that complements. A similar principle really to how gymnasts should use the balance beam in women's artistic gymnastics. The upper body has got to be working choreographically. 17.1 for Italy, down by a tenth from qualification. It's the artistry that's dropped to 10th, and that puts them below Ukraine. So we've had a switch around of the first two groups in terms of their qualification positions. The final performance comes from RGF. Top performers in qualification with 17.7. Oh, and by the way, this is quite fun. Oh, what a finish to that routine. Good times from RGF. Is it going to take them to the promised land and top spot on the leaderboard? Something for everybody in that routine. Alexei Germanov, styled as the king of rock and roll. And that's a great lesson in how to use the space and how to make a busy aerobic routine have a narrative, have a sense of performance. A lot going on in terms of the partnership too. Very steady lift, nice placement on the steps, controlled assisted backwards walkover. That's elegant and powerful at the same time.
We have the score for RGF team,
17.7 for RGF. They take the title. They are the World Aerobic Step Champions. They perform exactly as they did in the qualification campaign.
Dear friends, so this is the end of Aerostep finals. In a few minutes, we will proceed to prize award ceremony.
The classified results in the aerobic step final, taking top spot RGF, second place to Ukraine, and third place goes to Italy. And once they've managed to gather together those 24 athletes, we're going to get them out for the victory ceremony. A reminder of how it all happened. RGF taking top spot with 17.7. Ukraine silver medalists with 17.2. And Italy taking third place with a score of 17.1. So coming up in just a moment, the victory ceremony in the aerobic step competition. And a moment perhaps for us to think about what is still to come. As we turn our attention to tomorrow's finals, we have the individual men's final to get us underway. Then the mixed pairs final, the groups final, and the aerobic dance final. So 4 finals taking place tomorrow, and it all gets underway at 11 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. Do check your local listings for how to watch all of the coverage. Presumably, if you're listening to this, though, you've already figured out how to check your local listings and watch all of the coverage. That might be somewhat of a moot point. It's the National Gymnastics Arena in Baku, Azerbaijan, that's hosting these World Championships. It's the arena that, in many ways, brought aerobic gymnastics to the wider sporting world and the wider gymnastics community when it featured at the European Games in 2015, which was a major development in aerobic gymnastics. It's also been part of the World Games for a long time. And though this, what you're looking at now, the National Gymnastics Arena, is beautifully modern and stylishly designed, Baku is a most beguiling place. The old city is a UNESCO World Heritage Site containing delightful edifices such as the Maiden Tower, the Palace of the Shirvanshahs. And you can do what is I would say, one of my favourite things to do in the world, to stand in the old city and look at all of these beautiful buildings from the Islamic Golden Age, and then turn your back and stare at the Flame Towers, which are 190 metres and were built in 2012, and light up the night. Most extraordinary juxtaposition of architectures and cultures. In so many ways, Baku is the place where the East meets the West. It's held both the European Games and the Islamic Solidarity Games.
Hanımlar ve canablar, mükafatlandıran merasimine hoş gelmişsiniz.
Ladies and gentlemen, we proceed to award ceremony. Please welcome Aerostep teams.
It's now time for victory ceremony for the aerobic step competition. No medals to be awarded here, as there were fewer than 4 nations competing. But we still will be crowning world champions.
Aerobic Gymnastics üzrə 16. Dünya Çempionatında Aerostep programında mükafatlandıran mərasimine başlayır.
Prize award ceremony for aerobic step teams. Third place, Italy. Davide Naci, Francesco Sebastio, Ilenia.
Third place in the aerobic step competition, Italy, represented by Ilenia Barbagallo, Francesco Blasi, Sofia Cavalleri, Matteo Fallera, Sara Ferragina, Davide Naci, Silvia Santuccio and Francesco Sebastio.
Second place, Ukraine. Anastasia Litvin, Alexandra Mokort.
Ukraine, second place in this competition, representing them Katarina Cherkes, Daria Gustaliuk, Anastasia Litvin, Alexandra Mokort, Yulia Samoilenko, Ilona Shelest, Daria Subotina and Anna Timchenko.
World aerobic step champion, RGF. Irina Dobryagina, Alexei Germanov, Alexandra Chernusova.
RGF winners of the World Championship title, representing them Alexandra Chernosova, Anastasia Dmitrieva, Irina Dobryagina, Alexei Germanov, Polina Golubieva, Anastasia Gvodsetkaya, Yelizaveta Pelevina and Maria Tereshina.
Are presented with the gifts prepared by the local organizing committee. Congratulations!
Tebrik edirik.
So that completes the victory ceremony for the aerobic step competition at the World Championships of Aerobic Gymnastics 2021. And it brings to a close, I'm very sorry to say, our coverage of this first day of finals action. We started off with the trio competition and gold for Bulgaria. Tihomir Barotev, Antonio Papazov and Darina Pashova. In the individual women's competition, it was a historic gold medal for Aisha Onbasha of Turkey, winning Turkey's first ever honours at the World Championship. And then RGF have just taken the World Aerobic Step Championship title, courtesy of their impressive team of 8. Onwards then to tomorrow, and at 11 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time, we get the action underway with the individual men's final, then the mixed pairs final, the groups final, and we conclude the World Championships with the aerobic dance final. Until tomorrow, I've been Ollie Hochben. It's been a great pleasure having your company, and it's from Baku, goodbye, but not farewell.